everybody, it's Monkey Farm. We're over at the base, and I'm looking over at the future site of the NPC village and trading area and breeding area and all of that. We're going to build all of that fairly soon. Still kind of working on the design, or figuring out what I want to do, so we're not going to be working on that too much today. We are actually going to do some sort of upgrades to the mob spawner here. And the reason for that is I get a lot of questions from people that are having trouble with the redstone wiring. And with the new dispensers out, I figured I would show you guys how to build the mob spawner using the new water, or the dispensers that will dispense water as well. So it actually is less efficient. That scared me. It's actually less efficient to use the dispensers because you have to put a bucket of water in them. It's a lot of iron, so you'd be using a lot of buckets. So I just flipped on the mob spawner. Anyway, we're going to go over to a test world so I can show you this in more detail. I figured I would just show you the mob spawner in action, so those of you who haven't seen it will know what it does. When I flip on the switch, water washes all the mobs off the spawning pads, and then they wash down into this XP farm here. And I have videos for both, so I will put a link up on the screen to both right now. The original mob spawner tutorial and the XP farm tutorial that has all the redstone and switches and all the everything you need. But we'll head over to the test world, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, we're here in the test world, and here is the insides, how this thing works. We have 5 levels of kind of triangular shaped pads. We have all these half blocks to prevent spiders, and then we have all these pressure plates to hold the water up, and it'll flow over all of these pads and not get stuck in between all of the half slabs. Now, in the tutorial, I actually built it a little bit differently so I could show you how to save redstone. If you can see, each of the 5 layers has redstone going across it there, and that is very wasteful if you're playing on survival and not hacking in any items like in my Let's Play world. So I built this sloppy version here, which saves a lot of redstone. It only wires around the side on the bottom, and then we vertical wire up each of the 4 sides to power all the pistons. So before I show you how to build the dispensers in, I wanted to show you how the original worked. So we have these triangular shaped pads with pressure plates and half slabs to prevent spiders. Now the pressure plates are so that the water flows above all of these blocks and pushes all the mobs off and doesn't get stuck in between all the half blocks. So when we power this or unpower it, the pistons retract and let the water flow through. And by the way, I've added a dispenser to that one, that's why it's not on. So all the mobs get pushed off, and then when we turn the power back on, the water is blocked, and the mobs can now spawn again. So the dispensers work a little bit differently, where you have to pulse, you send them power to turn them on, and then you take that power away, and it's still on. You have to send another pulse of power to shut it off. So we're going to switch this from using a lever to change the power to actually using a button that will just send a pulse to all the dispensers and turn them on or turn them off completely. So if this is your first time building the Mobs on Demand spawner, I recommend watching the tutorial first, the original tutorial, and then before you build the water and the walls and all of that. So just build all the pads using what was shown in the first tutorial. The dispenser design is a little bit different. If you notice, we had a row of blocks on the 3rd block up from the pad when we used the dispensers in the water. Well, with the, did I say dispensers? I meant pistons in water. Anyway, so the dispensers, we put 2 blocks up instead of 3. So when you build the rings around the base here, you're going to want the ring for where you put your redstone 2 blocks up instead of 3. That way, otherwise what you'll have to do is kind of dip down where you put the redstone. Like it'll go like, whoops, it'll go like this because your dispenser will be lower and you'll have to lower this and it'll look ugly from the side. So if you want everything to look nice, put the ring of stone or whatever block you're using 2 blocks up from the pad instead of 3. Okay, so in the first video, and I did have a follow-up Q&A video as well, but what we did is we vertical wired up to the top to get power up to the levels here. So if you're not familiar with vertical wiring, basically you just put a redstone torch on every other block all the way up, and what that will do is keep inverting the signal, and then once you power the redstone torch on the bottom, all the signals will get inverted and you'll notice that top torch turns off and then turns back on. So that's how we're going to power this. Okay, so from the top you want to bring a redstone wire over to the center of the pad where the redstone, or where the dispenser will be. So let's place our dispenser. Let's put our water bucket in there, and that will be all we need to power this. Why don't I change my button up to just here, just so we can see everything. Okay, so you'll notice the water is dispensed, and now the water will suck back in. Okay, so all you'll need to do now is put a redstone repeater once your redstone signal runs out after 15 blocks. So the redstone here is much easier, as you can tell if you ever tried to build the first mobs on demand spawner with the pistons, because you don't have to do a lot of strange inverting or anything like that. You do have to do a little inverting when you go to the 2nd and 3rd and 4th and 5th levels up, but I will show you that real quickly after this. So you'll notice that that dispenser turned on. So the way you shut it off is just send another pulse to it so that all of the dispensers are working the same. So let's get our other 2 dispensers up here real quick, and let's see, and get our water bucket in, and you'll notice that dispenser will turn on, and then, I don't know, I guess it shut off. Alright, and we are almost there with the 4th dispenser. Okay, there we go, and we will reset that so that all 4 dispensers are off. And now if we click this button here, all 4 dispensers will dispense water, and then we click it again and they will all shut off. So anyway, I will show you how to power the additional layers, and then you will be ready to build it yourself. Okay, so we have 5 different levels here, and there are 2 ways that you can wire all the other levels. One way will save you a lot of redstone, and one will not. So I'll show you both, and you can decide based on how much redstone you have, or whether you are hacking in your items or not, whether you want to build it the nicer looking way but the wasteful redstone way, or the way that I built in my Let's Play world to save redstone. So what you'll notice is that when you vertical wire up the side here, not every level has the same power. You'll notice that this redstone is off and the bottom redstone is on. Now when we were using the piston method, that actually mattered, because if one piston was powered and the other was not, your water would be on one level and off on the other. Well, luckily with dispensers, that doesn't really matter much, because all you have to do is change the power. Let's say this dispenser was on, which it is, and the one below it is off. So all you have to do is kind of toggle the power to make all of your dispensers working together, you know, so make sure they're all off at the same time. So the wasteful way is to just power uh, every single level with redstone, with a row of redstone, and you'll notice that I can just change the power again to make sure all the dispensers are off. So that's one way to do it. The other way I will show you on the other side. Okay, so let's change that. Okay, so all of this side, the dispensers are off. So if you want to save redstone and not run a wire all the way around the spawner on each of the 5 levels, you can vertical wire up the side, and it's very easy to do. I will show you how to do that real quick. All the way up to the top. Now on this level, you'll notice that the redstone torch is powered, so when we put a redstone next to it, that dispenser will also dispense water. So we have both of those levels dispensing water. Now we flick the switch and they both turn off. So the third level up, if I put a redstone here, you'll notice that the redstone is not powered while the other ones are. And that doesn't matter, because what will happen is this redstone torch will get powered, and it'll power this block, which will power that redstone. And when we flick the button here, now all 3 levels will power. And hopefully I can hop up there quick enough for you to see that that redstone was lit. And we just keep on doing the same thing to all of these. Now, on this very top level, you'll need a block here, and then I can just toggle that off. Okay, so all 5 levels should be working in the same way. Like I said, it's a lot easier than the original design using pistons. Okay, so we actually have half of the entire spawner already working. And the only other trick that you need to do here is you can't just have a redstone wire to the left of your vertical wiring row, because this will not power through the block unless you have a repeater there. Or you can put a repeater, actually you don't want it on this side because then your dispenser wouldn't be powered. So that way the power will continue through the block. Okay, and for the 4th side, we just need to do the same thing. So we're going to vertical wire up the side. And put a redstone next to each of the dispensers. Now you'll notice that some of them turn on, and all you have to do is just break it and put the redstone again so that they are all turned off at the same time. So easy as that. We now have 3 sides of the spawner all powered up. Oh, except this one. Sorry about that. I forgot to put that block there. We have water going on all these levels, and obviously the lower level we've already powered up. So just in case you want to see the 4th side going the other direction, we're going to put redstone wiring up the side here. It'll just be on the other side of the, or it'll be on the other side of the dispensers instead. Don't forget our block on top. By the way, you'll have a roof on top, or a ceiling anyway, so it shouldn't be too much of a shock. Okay, so let's see if we have all of our pads, or all of our dispensers dispensing. This one is not on, so I'm just going to put a redstone torch there, and then put it back to a redstone wire, And that one is wired. Okay, so when I go and push the button, all 4 sides should completely shut off. And it looks like everything worked. And let's go ahead and turn it back on real quick. Okay, and we have water pushing the mobs off of all 4 sides of the spawner on all 5 levels. So everything else in the original tutorial video you can still follow. You still need to either put half blocks, you need to have a roof, with either torches on top, or you can put half blocks on top as well. Whoops, that is not a half block. To prevent mobs from spawning on your roof. That way they'll spawn inside your spawner instead. You also don't want to have your roof made of half blocks only because they leak light. You need to have a full block, and then if you want to put half blocks on top of that, you can do that. And once again, you don't really want to use a glass wall. I just did that so we could see everything going on the inside. You want to use a solid block so that no light leaks in. So I hope that helped a lot of you that were having trouble with the redstone wiring on my original Mobs on Demand spawner design. So this will be a lot easier for you if you want to use dispensers, but keep in mind, like I said, you're going to use iron ingots for every bucket, for every dispenser. And also, if you don't have a spider spawner, dispensers use bows and arrows, or not arrows, but you need a bow to make a dispenser, so you're going to need a lot of spider string as well. So it's up to you which design you use, whether you use the one with the pistons or the one with the dispensers. Both of them work fine. I will probably keep the one with pistons in my Let's Play world just because there's no reason to change it, and I don't need to waste all the iron if it's already working. So anyway, but I hope you guys liked the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. I would greatly appreciate it. And stay tuned for more videos. Make sure you're subscribed.